Good day everybody, my name is Daniel and I'm very excited to be your instructor for today's video, as I am always. And in today's video we're going to be going through structures. So just a quick note, if you're doing COS1511 you should be towards the end of your series, and if you're doing COS1512 you should be towards the beginning. But either way, this is the same lesson for both, okay? So same information you get is you're going to use it to apply it to both modules. If you're just a normal developer who's just trying to learn C++, don't worry about what I just said, okay? What are structures? Structures are basically a variable, but it's a variable that allows you to store more variables inside of that variable. So yeah, and then those variables that are inside that variable are called member variables. I'll show you. I made some notes, okay? Okay, here we go. So this is my IDE. Before you start coding, click File, create a new project with whatever IDE that you're using, okay? All right, so like I said, I have my notes here. Values, just like any other variable, can hold values. So it's a variable that can hold the values inside, okay? Just like any other variable. It's just that this one can create multiple values. I'm just gonna get this one out of here. We're gonna create a very simple example. The best way to learn is through practical examples. So how do you declare a struct? So outside of your main function, just go above it, okay? And over here, let's just say declare it like struct, right? And let's just say we want to create a bank account that's going to store your details and all of that. So we're going to say bank account, right? And this bank account, if I create the my curly braces, don't forget to add the semicolon at the end of the struct. Many times you will have errors and you won't know where they're coming from. Usually it's because of the semicolon that you forgot to include here. Okay, so I want my bank account. Usually when you're in your bank account, they take your ID number, they take your phone, your details, and you often have a balance, right? How much money you have in the account. We're going to keep it simple. We're going to have a first name, last name, and an actual balance. So I'm going to create a string. Don't forget to include string at the top. And we're going to create a string to store your first name and last name. And we're going to create a variable that stores your balance, which is a double, right? So if you don't know what a double is, a double basically works just like a float. So float, you can have var1 and you can say 34.3, or you can have a double var2 and you can store something similar. So the only difference is that a double allows you to store much bigger sizes of numbers than floats. I believe floats store 32 bits of value sizes, and then doubles store 64. So basically doubles are floats but bigger, okay? So if you didn't know that, now you do, okay? I'm gonna get rid of that. So that's my double. It's basically my float, or my value, my integer, but with digits. And then there we go, you created a structure which is bank account. How do we use this? Okay, we're gonna initiate it or instantiate it. Okay, let's instantiate the struct. Okay, so how we instantiate it is that what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say bank account, and then I'm going to give it a name. So bank account is basically my data type, just like how you would declare an integer int and then name of int, basically like that, and then you initialize it, name of int is equals to 3 or whatever. Bank account works exactly the same way. Okay, I'm just going to unzoom this. Bank account works exactly the same way. So I'm going to say bank account, I'm going to give it a name. So in this case, I'm just going to say it's FNB. Okay, we have a bank account, it's FNB, and in that bank account that I have, you know, this is my bank account. What details are there in that bank account? So there's a first name, last name, and the balance. That's my bank account. So what you want to do if you want to insert the first name, last name, and the balance inside of the FNB account is that you're going to just do FNB dot. So this is the dot operator, dot, and then you're going to say first name, and then you're going to say, okay, FNB dot first name is Daniel. That's my bank account. Okay guys, just realized that I'm trying to store inside of a string, I'm trying to store characters. So remember, double quotes and single quotes are different in C++. It's not the same thing. So here I'm going to say Daniel in double quotes, so that represents a string, and then I'm going to go ahead and say fnb dot last name is equals to Jumpman. Okay, just like that. So now we have a first name, we have a last name, and we can say fnb dot balance is equals to this is a double, so I'll just say 500. Maybe that's the balance that I have. Okay, so we can print these values. So we've instantiated this structure, and now the structure FNB basically now has these values, right? This bank account, this particular bank account, my bank account, right? Maybe I can say my FNB, just so that I don't confuse you guys, right? My FNB, I feel like this is much better of a name. My FNB the balance is 500. So let's try and print out what's in here. So I'm just going to create a function, right? I'm going to create a function that's going to allow us to print out these values. Okay, so I'm going to declare the function first here at the top. I'm going to say void, it's a void, it's off the top, void, and I'm going to say print account. Okay, and print account, it's gonna take bank account, and we're gonna pass in by reference, and then we're gonna say account. Okay, so actually I'm gonna, like I said, I'm only declaring it. I'm just gonna declare it here. I'm actually gonna give it the definition over here at the bottom. So I'm gonna paste it here, remove the semicolon, enter the curly braces, and I'm gonna start writing my logic here. So I just wanna print out the information that's inside my bank account. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna say cout, and I'm gonna say account dot, okay, actually let me say hello account dot first name. Notice that I'm using account here because that's the value that we're going to pass into the function, which is account. That's just the name of the parameter. Okay, so it's account dot first name. It basically references this my FNB account. Okay, account dot first name, and then I'm going to continue and say your balance is, and then I'm going to say, let me just take it up a little bit, and I'm going to say account dot balance. Basically that's it. Okay, so if I run print account, we should get my information printed out. Okay, so I'm just gonna call the function now. So I'm gonna say print account, and this is how you call the function for the structure my FNB. I can't type today. FNB. So this, I'm just gonna pass in the actual bank account name, right? So now I'm basically calling a function and passing in this structure as a parameter. And notice how print account does take this type, bank account, this is a type, as a parameter, and I'm passing it by reference. Okay, so let's just run this and see what happens. So there we go. It says hello Daniel, your balance is 500. So basically that's it. That's basically how you declare a structure and how you use a structure. So now let's make our program a little bit more engaging or a little bit more interactive. Okay, so let me just get rid of all this code, right? So say we have your FNB account right here, and let me just comment out the print function. So if I run this code, nothing happens. Okay, nothing happens because nothing is happening. So, but I want to create a function that allows the user to insert those details. It asks the user, what's your name, what's your first name, and how much money are you depositing into the account? And then after that, we're going to print the values of the account, okay? So I'm going to declare another function here. In fact, I'm going to name it at the top. I'm going to say void get data, right? And I'm going to take in the type of bank account, pass it by reference, and say this is account, okay? And then I'm going to basically write the definition over here, void, oh, I can just copy it, just make my life easier. And I'm going to start writing in the logic. So we want to ask the user to insert their names, first name, last name, and then insert the amount they want to deposit into their account, okay? So I'm going to say cout what is your name? And then we're gonna take in cin, we're gonna take in, so like I said, account dot parameter, and then dot whatever value that you wanna get the user to insert, which in our case it's the first name, right? It's the first name, last name, and the balance. So we're gonna say account dot first name and move on to the next line, and I'm just gonna copy this and paste it twice. So what is your name, what is your last name, and then on the last one I'm going to say how much do you want to deposit, okay? Yes. All right, so here we're going to say account dot balance is the amount that they're going to be depositing. That's going to be the original balance. Here it's going to be last name, okay? So these values get inserted. So let's run this just for demonstration purposes, see what happens. Okay, nothing happens. The reason is we didn't actually call our function. We need to call get data. So how we call the function is get data, and then we pass in my fnb into the function. Okay, then we run it. What is your name? Daniel. What's your surname? Jumpman. Well, how much do you want to deposit? 300, and then that's it. So it does work. Now it's time for us to actually print the actual function, to print the bank account. Now let's run it, and we're gonna say, oh, you guys can see, sorry about that. I'm gonna say Daniel Jumpman, and then how much do you want to deposit? 500. Enter. There we go. Hello Daniel, your balance is 500. So basically that's how you can declare structures, okay? So that's basically the essence of structures in a nutshell. You can of course go ahead and the great thing about things like structures is that you can create as many as you want. Now you have a structure as a bank account. Now what I can do here is that I can create another bank account very easily, right? And I can paste in, instead of my FNB, maybe I can say my Capitec. Maybe I have two bank accounts. Okay, then getting data, I can just change these to my Capitec, print the account. I can change it to my Capitec, or I can have as many as I want, okay? And you can maybe think about it like this. Maybe you have multiple users, right, in your database, in your program. You have a lot of users that are using your program, and you basically want to assign a new bank account to each and every single user. That's why structures are so important, right? And also this is basically the introduction to classes. It's the introduction to using classes, and classes work in a similar way, where basically you create an object. This thing here that we've declared, right, this bank account, my FNB and my Capitec, is what we call an object, and we're going to be using objects in classes as well. And you're going to see how instead of using structures, classes work way better than using structures, and how we can add privacy into all of this, because now this bank balance is just out there, anyone can access it. Look how we just accessed it here when we were printing account.balance over here. It was easy for us to access. So you need a little bit more privacy, and that's just the essence of object-oriented programming, which we're about to do in the next video. And I'll see you guys when I see you guys.